Improv. I went to improv class. For those that don't know what improv is, it's basically like um, talking and improvising. You should never use the word you're defining in the definition. It's basically coming up with random things to say to make like a scene. There goes my phone. To make a scene, to make it funny. So like it's really fun. Like if you're in a crowd or watching a show, an improv show, a lot of times they'll like call out suggestions. Like, and you come up with like what's your favorite song lyric, and it'll be like best day ever, I don't know, and then you have to make a scene off that, and it's really funny to see two people try to make a comedy scene and try to flow together, and like random things pop up and they got to go with it. Anyway, it's just like a style of comedy, and I did it because I had an interest in it. I had a friend, shout out Parker, that did it, and I talked about him last podcast, and he told me how much fun it is, and I never knew anybody that did it, so I was like, he's my good friend, so he's loving it. I'm just going to do it. I always had like a feeling I wanted to do something with comedy, but like stand up is a little daunting and like up there on your own. I wanted to do something more where I could learn, and that's where I think improv is perfect. It's like a great beginner step. I went to like a drop-in class where there's beginners and veterans, whatever you want to call them. And we're all working together, and it's like with a teacher, and she'll teach you like the basics. And I think that was perfect because it got me in the door and got me started, and I learned a lot, and I also realized that I loved it. So I had like, you had to like tell your name and do silly things, and you get loose, you're nervous at the beginning, but then like the first exercise where we had to go on stage with somebody, I actually volunteered to go first, and I wasn't even nervous. It was like I was home. And it was funny because I was thinking, like, as soon as I got on stage, she told us we're going to do like that practice that I mentioned, is like they give you a suggestion and you make a scene off of it. Mine was actually best day ever. That's why it came to my mind. And when we did it, I was like so ready for it, because I think I like to do that in my everyday life, is just come up with nonsense. So to think that you're giving me this line, I don't know what you're going to say. I got to come up with something funny, come up with something different, like no rules, no limits, and it's supposed to be weird. And this person next to me is about to do the same thing with me and try to work with me. I just found it funny and too much fun. And I felt like that's perfect for me. It wasn't like you have to give information, you have to give a speech, you have to persuade people. It was just like, say the first thing that comes to your mind and try to make a funny story out. And my mind goes all over the place. So ours was best day ever. And she said, like, my partner was like, this boat ride is amazing. It's the best day ever. And I was like, and like, she said that out of nowhere. So I was kind of shocked. And the first thing I said was, oh, wow, I didn't even notice we're on a boat. This is the smoothest boat ride. And it was funny because it's like, we're obviously not on the boat. So I kind of played on like the actuality that we're just standing on the floor and it's like a smooth ride, because it's like, it's not rocking, you know? So it was funny. But anyway, that was like the very first thing I've ever said, or a second, as I said like another line before that. But it was just funny because it came to my mind quick, and I thought it was funny, and it was funny, and it was just fun to do. And it just felt like it's crazy to me that people do that all the time and have that much fun, like just joking around. It felt like a place you're supposed to joke around with, and it's a great hobby of mine now that I'm going to start doing more. I'm going to sign up for like the little beginner courses. Super excited. It was just so much fun. And what's great about it too is that, like, if they have them in different cities, if you don't know anybody in a city, it's a great place to go to meet somebody. Not saying I have a ton of friends here, but I'm saying if I ever moved or if I ever got a new job or something and I went to a new city, I didn't know anybody or only knew like a few people, it's great to meet people because you go in this room and you're supposed to be super strange and silly and weird and zero judgment. So you know the silly side of a person, because a lot of times when you meet somebody out in the wild, you don't know their sense of humor. So this is like an instant look into their sense of humor, into their personality, like instantly on the first day you meet them. So it's really great to meet people. And some people were actually there because they like had a basic job and they moved here for their job and they didn't know anybody and they liked comedy. So they like, I'll just do a class to meet people. And it was so fun. It's so fun to think of like doing funny skits and things come to your mind and people have to act it out. Like, I don't know. It's just funny. It was just hilarious. I love to laugh and I love to make people laugh. And it was hilarious and so much fun. And I'm looking forward to doing it more. So catch me at your local improv doing a friggin' show in about 8 weeks. I think the course is like 4 weeks, but I got to do at least probably like minimum like 3 courses. So like 8, 16 weeks, 20. Catch me in 20 weeks. I'm out there on the stage saying nonsense and doing what I do. Also, side note, double entendre, in addition to, as well as, I think it's going to be great for this podcast as well, because it teaches you ways to think, and not always that, just different techniques of how to be a better improviser and what things work, why they do, how to, just how to say what comes to your mind, and just things like that. Just different things to improvise. And I feel like a lot of podcasting is improvising and talking on the fly. It's just great for talking and speaking your mind and things like that. And I felt like it went hand in hand with this. So there we go. And I thought that was great too.